Good morning, everybody. My name is Azalea, and you're watching my YouTube channel, WayCrunchy, This Old Shack series. $20,000 cash, bought us a 1929 Extreme FixerUpper. She ain't ready to live in, and we've been working on her for about 6 months. We're going to keep on working. But this is a fun project for us, and this is a project of freedom from rent, freedom from mortgage payment. So, here we go on our freedom journey. So far this morning, I have been using my Drydex, this lovely pink goop I like that dries white to fix walls. So I've been going back over some places that needed a little more because I kind of build it up as one layer dries on the next layer in some places. And so that's kind of easy, fun work that I've just been walking around doing. And one of my goals, so I have a 10-year-old son who's been homeschooled all along, and one of my goals for him here at the FixerUpper now is not just to tell him, oh, do this. I want him to think, decide what he thinks needs to be done and how to go about a project, and like be his own boss and like carry through on some stuff on his own. So this is the back of our lovely little shed, and this is the retaining wall to the front yard. And there's a lot of garbage over here, bushes to be trimmed, that kind of thing. So Tom, my son, has watched me my whole life trimming. I love trimming bushes, trimming trees, trimming. I always got snippers in my hands, shaping the landscape wherever we happen to live. But, you know, I just want, this is a tucked away little area where I can be like, Tom, what do you see that needs to be done? You fix up this area. Here are your work gloves. Here are your trimmers. Here is a trash bag. You make decisions. You work for yourself. When we see how it looks nicer than it did before, we'll know that you did that. All right, so I'm back in this basement. This project has taken me much longer than I thought it would. I'm gonna try to get another chunk. I'm not even gonna say try to finish. That's what I wanna say, but I'm gonna get another chunk of work done here. So y'all, I told y'all in the last video, like if I go under that little closet, I get dizzy. It's like claustrophobia. I don't think it was claustrophobia. I think it was more like yucky. It was yucky, and it kind of gave me, my physical and mental health is very tied together, and so I think it was just like so yucky and overwhelming that it made me dizzy. Because today when I got back in there, after I cleaned it and got more paint in it, I didn't get dizzy at all. I don't think it's claustrophobia. I think it was just like the yuckiness freaked me out so bad. But yeah, so the closet doesn't give me a panic attack anymore. It is coming along, I'd say. So there's a million little different things to think about with all this. Anyway, so like getting rid of garbage and stuff. Like you can't take paint. You can't throw away paint. Like wet paint. So there's old paint things under the stairs. Also, if you didn't know, paint expires. So old paint under there, I can't use that. Some of it was already dried up into like little paint pucks, and I'll just throw that into the garbage bag. But the wet paint, you have to like mix it with kitty litter or dry it up before you can take it to the dump. All right, so like this one is essentially dried up. I'm gonna leave this outside to just make sure that little paint puck is totally dried up. I'm not gonna take it to the dump next time. This one's wet. That ain't gonna, but it obviously expired. So I'm gonna take this paint over to my trash pile and pour it out, and then it'll dry up, and then I can throw this crap away. Pretty color. are you doing, John?
Cutting garden posts for you.
Well, for us, for our garden.
Yes, of course.
This garden is really happening, y'all. John and I are both obsessive gardeners. It just brings us so much joy. So we're both of us growing our tiny little plants right now. Little Tom's into gardening. Zinnia is. She likes focus. Yeah, so we're getting ready to put in the raised beds this year at the new house. Now, of course, so with like supply and demand and supply chains and all that, ever since coronavirus and all that, wood's really expensive. But even if it wasn't that expensive, we obviously like to repurpose and find and utilize supplies around. So I'm going to be gathering together. We're probably going to be doing like 2x6s and then corner posts. So I'm going to be gathering together wood that fits that. So one of y'all messaged me recently and they were like, I love, the old shack, but I really miss your gardening videos. Well, here we go. A lot of y'all have also subscribed since I started the FixerUpper, so y'all didn't catch the chickens and the garden and the little baby years and all that, although they are available on YouTube on my channel. But yeah, no, gardening, I was passionate. I'm passionate about sharing how you can do it for cheaper as well. These are my baby plants in my miniature greenhouse. All this stuff's gonna go in the ground at the new house. Very exciting. I'm gonna go ahead and move these posts we just cut, tomato cages, little garden fence over to the new house, because never will I ever grow another tomato at this barn house. This is some paint I'm gonna carry over to the new house. Some white ceiling paint, and so it looks like some exterior white trim that my neighbor gave me. Y'all, we're also thinking about reviving the chicken flock. The best decision is to do it next year. Focus on working on the house and the garden this year, and then at a leisurely rate hatch some eggs next year. But we did go visit the little baby chicks at the farm store. Are they cute?
We should really get these chickens.
Yeah, he does. You would have to help me build the coop. I would want you to mostly do it. We basically would just have to pull wire around it and make a door.
What if you grab one in here?
Mom, I will buy that. Please. It gets shook.
All right, y'all, I've been carrying on, going through scraps and scraps and scraps of wood. The shed, the scrap pile. I'm laying out the wood scraps and planning out where some garden beds will go and getting the wood ready. So it's kind of like, hopefully John will do this project while I work on something else, and it'll be kind of like a raised bed kit I've created for him. Just put all the pieces there, and then he can saw and screw. While I was doing that, obviously, old scrappy wood got nails in it. I've done jabbed myself with an old nail. And then I couldn't find my phone right after I did that. I decided to prioritize the jabbing of the foot. Thought maybe my phone was stole. That's what I film all these videos on. It won't. I had just left it on a porch rail. Bleeding. So I poured hydrogen peroxide. This is probably going to give me anxiety. It has done clotted. It's not really bleeding anymore. And then it probably is like a bruise, like a little puncture. So what I got going on here is a deeper 2x6, 2 feet by 6 feet, deeper raised bed, ready to go. Now over here, I have gathered together a more shallow 3x6 raised bed. Alright, y'all, look. I've got a very fancy drawing of what I have laid out to be built from scraps. Alright, so this is the garden I got laid out from scraps. So our longest one is 6 feet, running this way, 2 feet wide. Then we got 2 5-footers, 3 feet deep. And then I had enough to do a 2x2, 2 feet by 2 feet, little square one right here. So we got a little bit deeper, 10 inches deep, 13 inches deep, 6 inches, 8 inches. So I have extensively studied the principles of square foot gardening. So a tomato needs 2 by 2. A yellow squash needs 2 by 2. A pepper only needs 1 square foot. So 3 feet across, 5 down. That's 15 pepper plants right there. John needs that space. An eggplant is 1 square foot. You know, beets and turnips get a bunch within a square foot. It's laid out in a good way. I'll look up square foot gardening. It's really good for raised beds. So the inches that are going to be in the raised bed are going to be super fertile, babied soil. And because it's in raised beds, it never gets walked on. So the air, the space for the water and the air and the roots is important. And you know, the soil is just alive. And so we can really baby those top inches. Then we're going to have a layer of like cardboard and newspaper and stuff that's going to break down. And it's going to smother and kill the grass that's already there underneath. But then after that breaks down, the roots can go on into the earth. Right here, there's no bottom to a raised bed. So the plants in your raised bed, if they want to have real deep roots, they can go for it. Anyway, I have a passion for gardening. The barn I've been living at, we can't figure it out. We haven't tested the soil, but it just seems to be cursed earth. But in my past, I am a prolific, actually, if you've been watching this channel from the beginning, then you know I'm an urban homesteader. I'm not quite as urban here at the new house, but I used to teach urban homesteading, and I had the chickens and the compost and the densely planted garden to maximize food. You know, it's just like a random specialty I have that got a little bit pushed to the side when my life was in crisis and I had a divorce and had to rebuild. But y'all, I'm rebuilding so much better. My life is freaking glorious now. I feel certain John is my soulmate. I tell him that all the time. It wouldn't be news to him if you're like, oh, she said you're her soulmate on the internet. Yeah. But yeah, this is it. I love this. I'm so happy. Good. All right, so along this wall, house is right here, this glorious retaining old-timey rock wall. I've got these big, old, decomposing beams. So those can go up against this rock wall and give us a long stretch of garden that is part sun. It's full sun over there. That's where my squash and my tomatoes and my peppers need to be. Part sun, I can put, you know, my basil and my cilantro and bok choy and different things over here. Now, I have also, this I could do some kind of additional, I might have to do like some netting. I'm planning into this, if we have to put up a deer fence around the garden, then it'll be in a place where it won't be too hard to do that. So the deer don't eat our garden. Because I can get rid of the groundhogs. I can't get rid of the deer of Virginia. This is a wooded bit of our property, but you can tell once upon a time it was someone's garden. Is that holly over there? I mean, you can just tell this was someone's garden. There are plants here, remnants of a bygone time. All right, y'all, I found a little more good wood for this project for the 2x2 bed. So now I can add 3.5 inches to that depth. See, now this one's 13 inches deep, and this one's 13 inches deep. The beginnings.